Hi everybody, this is Caroline Sotheby and welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. Okay, a lot of things been happening. I have Neil sitting here because he went to something last week and he's going to give us more information. But I have to let you know, I went down to the Salvation Army thing at the Grecian Center. And hey, we can go to that little clip, give you an idea who was there and the band and some other information. So. That was before the dinner actually started. A lot of people were there. This I found very interesting. Salvation Army characters. They managed to bring it into the center. This is a group of Red Hat ladies. Of course, there's one that she's under 50 because she's got the other color. You said there's only 3 minutes.
In there. I'm Lieutenant Shaw. My wife and I are the pastors of the Salvation Army downriver. My wife is some way over there, waving her hand. I'm going to ask Dan Gillespie to come up and to give a few words. Dan Gillespie is the chairman of our advisory council. And so here is Dan Gillespie.
Thank you. Lieutenant. First of all, we can still get a lot of people coming in, and I appreciate from the bottom of my heart for everyone who is here and welcome today. So enjoy yourself.
Thanks for coming out.
And we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Are you going to give us some coffee?
I would like to also welcome guests that we have. So our special guests, our speakers, are Lieutenant Colonel Steve and Christine Merritt. And then we have our General Secretary and Detroit Metro Area Commander, Major Charlotte Hall. We have a couple people from our divisional headquarters, such as Tim Cross, who's part of our development team. And then we have Lieutenant Brianna James, who's from the Harbor Light in Detroit. And we have several. I mean, I could go around the whole room and introduce everybody, but I'm going to say to you guys, I do want to say thank you to the brass band that we have. And next time I'll be on here, I'll be praying for dinner. So enjoy the music.
All right, that was a nice, fast, warm meal. A lot of good groups sitting around talking to one another. And that Red Hat Group Society, I didn't realize that they were available at this time. Well, I shouldn't say at this time because they're going on vacation for about a week plus. But they promised to come on the show the week of Thanksgiving and give you an idea what their group is all about and how to get in touch. So anyway, that was last week. Now, you also went someplace last week and you brought a lot of footage.
Yeah, so I went to this place. It was called the Great Lakes Broadcast and Media, Sports and Media Academy. And it was hosted by the Michigan Association of Broadcasters. And it was pretty much a morning to afternoon event. And it was where students that were interested in video production could attend this seminar session of current and sort of past media. This is footage outside of Ford Field when I got there. I got an email about this from my college about a couple weeks before. They're like, hey, we got this event going on. And I was like, I don't really see too much other than Wyandotte Connect Studio. So I was like, let's take a look and see what's going on over here. So it was cool to also see Ford Field because this was at Ford Field and I hardly ever get down there with work and everything. But it was cool to see the city. And of course right there you got Comerica Park. And this was down Brush Road. And I just was like, I got to take some of this architecture. So it was a really cool event. If you're new into the scene and you are really starting off at pretty much the high school level, this is a great event for high school students and early college students. Oh, and this is also, that was the whale that the Gooder guys have been talking about for the past probably 3 or 4 episodes. I figured I would get that in there. There's that QR code that you can scan, which actually shows the mural and has that information. There's the Rensen Tower, the GM Tower, which apparently they're wanting to get rid of. I don't know the total scoop. So this was when you first walk in, you see all those chairs. That's actually Ferris State's camera. It's Ferris State University, and their truck, their production truck that they use for different football games, they use a Blackmagic camera. I was like, I gotta get that. Look at that camera. That's definitely different, but similar to what we have here in the studio. Definitely a longer lens. So this was down Adams Street within Lions, the Ford Field, and alongside there they had booths that you could go check out. This one was if you wanted to do a little sports broadcast, you could get in front, and they had some mini lights that you could stand in front of. Over there, they had all these mascots from different schools in front of Channel 955, which was doing a segment all the way from 6 a.m. that morning to when I got there. This was about 8:30, and so they're doing a little scramble of the mascots, so to speak. It was just a real quick little thing there. Here, that devil-looking character. I don't know the names of these guys, but and it seems like Ferris State's Bulldog breaks it up, and then Victorious, whoever that guy is, I'm not too sure. But it was really cool to see the 955 guys. Sometimes I hear them on the radio when I'm going to work. This is Channel 10's booth. They had a little green screen showcase. This guy was running the computers. He actually runs the same switcher as we do here. And here's my little segment.
We are here at the MAB Broadcast Academy, and we're going to look at some first alert weather. You can tell we got a lot of different temperatures today all over the country. More colder in the north, got moderate temperatures in the Midwest. It's going to be 78 degrees on Friday. It's 78 degrees on Wednesday. Got to redo that one. And Friday's going to be 57 degrees, pretty chilly. You're going to need a coat.
Let you know, these are not
and
accurate.
Throughout the week, we got 71
temperatures.
on Tuesday,
This was just something
58 degrees
that
on
they
Wednesday,
had
in the 50s,
for the students to
and then
try
later
out.
on we do increase in
Also,
temperature.
I was the first one,
Gets a little bit colder
they
towards
got
the
to
weekend.
troubleshoot their
so
issues
bring those
on
coats
me.
and jackets towards the football season.
But I was
and
the first
we'll
one to
catch
come
you
up
right
to
back
them.
with the next guy.
Back to the
MAB
studio there.
Broadcast Academy.
And they had these virtual sets that you could also set up. Now, this was the first lecture of the day. They had a lot of kids, a lot of field trips from different schools, and all the kids would just load into there. They had a little breakfast. I didn't get too much of that, but they had like breakfast and juice. So I was sitting there in front of empty chairs, and then as I was sitting, a whole bunch of people. That's the brochure that they gave me, and it had a bunch of different stuff about the event inside of it. So there's all the kids loaded in. I felt a little out of place. I was like, did I really sit in the right spot? I don't think I did, but it didn't matter. Nobody said anything to me. And let's see who this guy is.
Ford Field. You know, for some of us that haven't been there this year, this is interesting because I didn't realize how vast it is there. You know, you could get lost.
Oh, easily. I mean, the place, I mean, they had this one seminar, but then the other seminar that I had to go to was all the way down on the other side. This guy was Casey Jones, so he's the president / CEO of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters. And this was their 3rd annual academy at Ford Field. There was some coverage. This is Dan Miller. He was doing an opening segment just talking about his life and where he came from, and then also giving people just an insight of what his everyday life is. Very busy guy. I can't imagine living a life like he does, and then also having to travel as much as he does. It was just interesting to hear his point of view on things, being a sports commentator, but then also talking from when he was 8 years old, when he was starting off, and how he would try to get different opportunities as much as he can. I will say he definitely had probably an easier route in terms of connections, but he did put in the work to get to where he's at.
Oh, yeah. Well, in order to survive to this point, you have to put a lot of time. You're making connections with people, so you're learning more about maybe the sport or the person or the club or the team, whatever. And that you're building up all this information right in your little head up there, and to come out just whenever you want it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear his perspective. And of course, this is only the talent side of the perspective. There was other seminars that had people working behind the scenes, which is what more I'm really into, like camera work, video editing. But it's always interesting to hear this side of it because you don't really hear from these guys at all. You see them on the TV, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And the next show comes in. So here we go. So we're going to the first seminar. Lots of kids. I was trying to maneuver. Apparently over 1,000 people were here at this academy, and they had different schools that were trying to promote their programs. I saw Easterns there. This was the first seminar I went to. This was called The Breakthrough in Broadcasting, What Employers Really Want in New Hires and Interns. They talked about what employers look for, what themselves as employers are looking for. And this is inside Ford Field. Mm-hmm. You don't really usually see this, but like you said, you could easily get lost. And then this was outside of the next seminar, which is all the way down at Gate G inside Ford Field. And this one was about more of the video editing side, maximizing creativity, and they showed a different programs that they were using, like Premiere Pro, After Effects, the industry standards, plus they showed a little segment from their own portfolio of their work. And then here's the lunch line. They gave us a slice of hot and ready pizza. It wasn't really hot and ready. A bag of chips, water or pop, I prefer water, and a peanut butter cookie. So it was a pretty long line. Everybody was waiting for it. And then, of course, you see the different groups of classes, everybody kind of sticking together. I was by myself, but I was okay.
Well, it looks like a mixed group too. So that was good for some kid in high school wanting to know, should I venture out and go into college and do that? What's my chances? Do I really think I might like it? There was a place to be to ask questions and get answers.
Yeah, and when you're starting out from high school, your school might not even have any programs.
Right.
Like when I was going to school, all they had was a film class, and it was really more of a writing films and a writing class. It wasn't about the production, whereas other schools like Novi, maybe like Bloomfield Hills, they have these film programs where kids can take field trips like this and see, but for the kids that don't have those opportunities, this is a great place for that. To learn sort of like the baseline, just scratching the surface of what the industry has to offer, and what kind of stuff is out there. So they had different opportunities where you could sit down and be a part of a sports show. There was like a radio show they had. You could learn how to do CPR. I took part of that. I got a free t-shirt.
Really? Well, that's good.
And one of the guys that was instructing me, he's from Southgate, so that was cool to know that he was so close to home.
That's what I'd like to have on our show, because at one time when I was a waitress, we had to go to CPR class and actually know how to do it and got our certificate. Because if you're on the floor and your person you're waiting on all of a sudden goes, "Hey, what do you do?" Or even if they, were choking and stuff like that. But I don't know what they do nowadays, if there's any class available.
You could probably ask Archie. I can imagine they do CPR sessions over there. What I was taught was you take both of your hands and you interlock the one and you press in the center of their chest. Now, I was like, well, could you break their ribs? And they're like, that's really not important. People can heal, bones can heal. The main thing is
Get them.
the life needs to be saved. And this one guy was telling me he was having a cardiac arrest and that saved him. Yeah, it was about a month of recovery that he needed to go through, but it was worth it because it saved his life in the end. So they have this technique and they show the staying alive sort of rhythm, that kind of rhythm that you need to push down on the person's chest. And also they have these machines where you hook up these electrodes right here, and it helps keep them. I think it's called a defibrillator.
Yeah, which we have machines in our lobbies.
Yeah.
So if you know how to do that, you're
Yeah,
okay.
I got a +1 there, so now I'm a little bit extra here.
Well, you got a lot learned from just that being there. You got to see what Ford Field was like. You have an idea. You went to several different classes. And CPR, that's something that you didn't bank on, did you?
Yeah, no, well, it showed it in the brochure, and I was, at first I was hesitant. I was like, I don't know, I don't really know. But then I was like, well, I'm here. I paid for it. Technically, it was $25 for the whole thing. And I would say it's worth it for what you get.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, why not? I think a lot of kids might have hesitated on it. Maybe they were just, I don't want to, maybe it doesn't look cool enough. I don't know what kids are thinking. But I was just like, why not? Let's give it a try. And I think it was worth it because I learned something that normally they wouldn't teach. And he did say that there are seminars that you can go out that sort of they go more in depth and break things down a little bit so that when you're in that situation, you're not so scatterbrained or you're thinking, oh, am I doing this right? So definitely look for those out there. There's all kinds of different opportunities for that. But I think overall the event was a success. When it got to 12 o'clock, things sort of stopped and you could check out the booths. There wasn't too much that I was looking at that I didn't already know. I thought Ferris State's booth was pretty interesting. They had their sports truck and they had a replay system. You could go back on the certain plays. And I was learning more about, things are getting more in the AI sense. So they're using AI for editing to sort of clear up shots that are somewhat blurry. It's not taking over the industry, but it's definitely something to think about. And another thing was at certain sporting events, they're not even in person anymore. They have a director that they hire out. He hops in a Zoom call and he's watching the game and directing from miles away, and all the cameras are remote operated. So it's it's changing the game in terms of video production. Who knows what the future looks like, but it was definitely interesting to learn, and that's why I went, to find out these things that you normally don't hear in college classes or at your local production studio.
Oh, for some information we can give out to these kids too, if you might be considering doing something. We have an opportunity for you guys to actually come down, learn how to do the camera, get a feel of what it's like in front of the camera as well as behind. There's 324-7138, right?
Yep, that's
Joel?
straight to the director. We got a thumbs up from him.
Okay, I don't know how much more time we have left, but I went Monday to the Oakwood Cemetery for the Veterans ceremony, 11 a.m. And the wind was sort of nasty, but we'll try to give you an idea, a clip of basically who was there and what went on.
It was pretty windy that day.
Yeah. You don't realize that until you're there, and well, you can see what the wind was doing to the flags and the clouds.
Adams State Regent Donna Brady will unveil the stone representing the female branches of the U.S. military, the Army and Navy Nursing Corps, the Women's Air Force Service Pilots, known as WASPs, the Women... If I try to name each and every one who has helped in some way, I know I will forget a name. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, and everyone who came out to support.
The daughters of American Revolution. Cousin. And the group from Post 217 American Legion were there. And that's a new area that they put little planters in and a little seat. And some of the girls that came in from out of town. And this is a new area. Hi. Okay. So that was a real fast one. We had more things, but the wind was so nasty. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really came through the mic, and so I gave a copy of it to Dan Gillespie because he's the one that let me know they were going to be there, which was nice of him. And next time, I think they'll probably go down, probably Memorial Day weekend. Oh, no. Well, yeah, because this is already November. Wow. The year's gone by so fast. Yeah. And talking about already November, if you got your booklet through the mail, here's the one that says everything about what Santa Claus this weekend. And okay, you tell us about it.
Well, we got the Christmas parade this Saturday along with the tree lighting on Friday. think it's around 6 o'clock is when it starts, and then the parade usually gets going around 10 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we'll be out there with the cameras again. I'll be on top of the truck, so look for me. I'll be waving down if you see me there, and it should be a fun event. It always is. Try to see who shows up. A little chilly, but definitely not as cold as it has been in previous years. More like 40, 50 degrees. Should be an interesting one. We should have enough crew for everything and get everybody hot breakfast. And don't know if they're going to be doing the cookie walk this year. I know with
There
Phil
was
Rausch.
something downstairs on a poster, but I don't know what date. But
I think it was
you're-
food trucks. They were having some sort of food trucks
That's right.
on the 15th and the 16th.
Yeah.
Around the times as the tree lighting and the parade. So you'll want to go out and check that out, get what you can. I'm sure they got good food.
And you're talking about the parade, Grand Marshal, this time in Mr. Ken Maluski. So, yeah, and then of course, if you're in the same book, you're also getting more information on some of your businesses. This Friday is the third Friday already, because the first was a Friday. So we have 5 Fridays and 5 Saturdays this month in November.
Yeah, and we're not not before Thanksgiving, but we're 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and I think it could be, and this is unconfirmed, but third Friday in Wyandotte, maybe the businesses have a little part into it, so definitely check out the local businesses on Biddle Avenue. I'm sure they're going to be out and about, so see what you can, get what you can, and it should be a fun event.
All right, so that's Friday, roughly 5:30, 6 o'clock, Sycamore, Biddle Avenue by the City Hall. Christmas Parade, 10 a.m. on Saturday, or watch it on your television, right?
We'll be there.
Hey, thanks for coming in, letting us know that. That would be interesting. I would have mind going for something like that too, because you talk to other people and a lot of questions are answered and so on and so forth. So, okay, we'll see everybody there, hopefully this weekend, City of Wyandotte. Other than that, come back next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Take care now. Bye-bye.